Hey everybody, Happy New Year and welcome back to Pretend World's Real People. As always, I'm Tyler, and today we are sitting down with agent assistant and former casting director Miss Christi Webb, who has an incredibly storied career in the industry, starting from her career pursuit at MTV to joining the casting side from assistant to associate to director and leading up to becoming the LA-based agent assistant for Mitchell and Associates Talent. It was a blast. Oh, and she has a really good story about the always awesome Rachel McAdams. So I'm going to shut up. Please pull up a seat and help me in welcoming Miss Christi Webb.
Yes, hi, my name is Christi Webb, and I am an agent assistant with Mitchell and Associates Talent, and I primarily take care of our Los Angeles division.
How the heck did you get involved in this industry? That's all. It's the first question for every single show, but I gotta know, like, especially this side of it. What brought you to this side of it?
Well, I my journey starts in casting. That was sort of my entry into the entertainment industry. I always knew, well, growing up, I always loved sort of two things, music and movies were my two loves. And I really just, I knew I wanted to be in the entertainment industry, but I didn't know what branch I wanted to be in. So when I went to college, I studied journalism and mass communication with an emphasis in public relations. And I thought, maybe I'll get into entertainment PR or something like that. And I had this dream in my heart that I wanted to live in New York City for some reason. It was I just thought I have to live in New York City. And so I graduated college and then I made a plan to move out there. I guess it was probably about a year after I graduated college. I decided I'm just going to move to New York City. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to live. I love, as I said, I loved music, and it was back when MTV actually played music and music videos. So I thought maybe I can get a job at MTV or, something like that.
Yeah.
So I guess it was fall, I'm dating myself here, but fall 2004 is when I moved to New York City. I didn't know a single soul. I didn't have a job, and I just worked temp jobs basically. I never did work at MTV. I tried, I applied, but I ended up working temp jobs, and I ended up working a long-term temp job on Madison Avenue. That was a desk job, and I figured out pretty quickly that New York was not where I wanted to be long term. It's a
Oh,
great
okay.
city, but you kind of have to have a lot of money to live there, and
For sure.
I wasn't making a bunch of money at my temp job on Madison Avenue. And so I figured pretty quickly that it wasn't for me long term. I I remember counting down the days. I thought to myself, if I can just make it 6 months, then I can leave. I've made this huge deal to get here, and, moving away from home, and a, goodbye party with all my friends and family and the whole thing. And I thought, no, I'm here and I don't want to be here. So, um, but after about 6 months, I stopped counting down the days of when I could leave and just sort of started living. And after I'd been there about 2 years, I got, so because it's New York City, um, my apartment that I was living in got bed bugs, which is
Oh
the
no.
worst.
Oh my
And
God.
I know it's the worst. And so my mom said, you can either pack up all your stuff right now, you know, get everything taken care of, and then move everything back in and keep living here, or just pack it up and go. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to go. And so within about a week, I had made the decision to leave New York City, and I was packed up and gone within about a week, which is
Holy cow.
crazy. And so while I was in New York, I had sort of started to think in my head, where do I want to go next? I know I didn't want to go back to my hometown. And so I thought, well, I want to go to LA next, and actually the woman that I work for that owns the agency that I work for,
Mm.
Carissa Mitchell, had told me a long time ago, because we're lifelong friends, but she had told me maybe when I was in high school, even, I don't know, but she said, you would be really good at casting because she just said, I just think you'd be really good at matching actors with roles. And that kind of sort of stuck in my brain. So when I was deciding to go to California, I said, okay, I'm going to try to get into casting. And so I went home for a month and made my move out to Los Angeles. And so when I got out there, I I moved somewhere. I didn't know anyone. I didn't have a job. Um, got an apartment, and then there used to be this old bookshop. I think they're gone now, but it was a Samuel French bookshop, and they had the now casting guide of everything that was being cast and all the casting directors that were casting all the shows, all the movies, and it had their contact information. And so I went through the book and I highlighted all of the projects and all of the casting directors that interested me. Casting directors that had cast my favorite movies and my favorite TV shows, things like that. And I just cold called them and said, are you looking for an entry level, you know, assistant? And the majority of them said no. And so once I had done that, then I went back through and called the rest of the casting directors in the book and said, are you looking for an entry level assistant? And like I said, pretty much everyone said no. There were a few people that said, send us your resume. We'll keep it on file. If something comes up, we'll get in touch with you. And so it was one of those casting offices that called me back, the now defunct Lieberman Patton, but they said, we're looking for an intern. Will you come in for an interview? And so that's how I got my start in casting. And it was honestly one of the biggest, most prestigious, casting offices out there at the time.
Heck yeah.
And so I worked as an intern for free for 6 months. And, while my parents supported me.
Okay, good, good.
And, right. Thank goodness for my parents. I could never repay them for all they've done for me. And so then it was the following season in January, I got a casting assistant job at ABC Television for the, corporate side of casting, basically, and worked during their pilot season for one of their executives as a casting assistant. So, and then my casting journey from there kind of went to independent casting, and I worked for many different offices on many different things, and I did, um, you know, scripted TV, and I never did reality TV, but half hour, hour long drama, comedy, movies, voiceover, basically any sort of casting that's out there.
Wow.
I had my toe in. So I worked my way up from casting assistant to casting associate, and I always had the dream of being a casting director. And I honestly never thought that I wouldn't be in casting, but there were many reasons why I decided to get out of casting. Um, but probably the main one is that it's just a very hard and intense job to do if you love it. And if you don't love it, it's impossible to do. So there were just many reasons why I didn't love it anymore. And so I decided to sort of make the change. And Carissa, like I said, one of my very best friends, had her agency in New Mexico, and she was just starting her LA branch and said, come work with me. And I thought that's a good idea because I still get to do what I'm passionate about, which is work with actors, just on the other side of things. So that's sort of how I got to my current
Wow.
position on the agency side of things.
You had to go to the East Coast and then to the
Yes,
West Coast. Yeah, you had
yes,
a full-on odyssey to get to where you
yes,
are.
yes,
And
exactly.
what I find really fascinating, especially now, is there are so many casting directors who are so open about, not only the process of it, but the fact that they need to technically audition for jobs as well, and they're fighting to
Hmm.
keep those jobs. So I do want to
Yes.
go back to, your early years working as,
Yes.
an assistant and an associate, and just
Hmm.
I'm interested to see how long it took for you to maybe not feel comfortable in that casting world, but to feel like you could just swing with whatever came your way. When
Mm,
you're initially starting, just like any other job, I'm sure it's kind of
yes.
daunting when something goes wrong, but then you start to develop a thicker skin.
Yes.
You have these different pivots. So how long did
Yes.
it take for you to go, no, no, I got this. I'm fine.
Right. I don't know if I ever got there, honestly.
Okay.
Um, it's such a fluid, well, the entertainment industry is so inconsistent and fluid as it is. And casting is very much in that vein because you typically work for one casting director and they hopefully have work to carry you through an entire season, and so your season may go from, I don't know, mid June to early March. But this is the old days. The pilot season
Yeah,
is
pilot
very
season days.
different now. But and then once the job is over, you're on quote unquote hiatus, and you have to basically use the money that you've saved throughout the year to live for the next 2 or 3 months while you have no work. Well, hopefully these casting directors get another job for you to work on. Um, so it's very sort of inconsistent and things like that. But I definitely had a lot of good people that I worked for that sort of build my confidence and had, faith and trust in me. Um, Ruth Lambert and Robert McGee are two of my very favorite people. They're casting directors, primarily known for animation casting. With them, I worked on The Cleveland Show and, you know, uh, Rick and Morty, the first few seasons of Rick and Morty, and just different things like that. And they're really the ones that sort of saw that I had more to offer and said, stick with us. We'll promote you and we'll trust you. You can run sessions on your own, you can actors on your own. And so I think those people really sort of believed in me and gave me the confidence to sort of get to where I was feeling like, okay, I got this. I can do this. I know what I'm doing,
Yeah.
and of course there were others along the way that sort of would knock me down and make me feel like I didn't know what I was doing and I wasn't, where I was supposed to be. And I think that probably contributed to sort of my falling out of love with casting a little bit, but the good people along the way definitely, counted more than the people that weren't so, you know,
Yeah.
great or whatever. So
Yeah. The ones we try not to think about, but
sorry, I think my
2 in the
Siri
morning
keeps
and
coming on for some reason. I don't understand why that keeps happening.
your what keeps coming on?
I think like Siri keeps coming on.
Oh, weird. Is
So I
she?
hope it's not messing anything up, but
No,
I don't know
I
where
haven't
that's
heard
coming from.
anything.
Okay, okay, good, good.
Is she just saying oh, hey, how can I help you?
It's just like a little screen that pops up and it repeats the words that I'm saying. And I'm like, what is happening?
I don't need you to search anything. It's okay.
Right.
No, it's been fine. I think
Okay, good.
my end, I'm always double checking. I have all my windows closed and everything because
Okay,
just
cool.
there's been a couple accidents here and there.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
but yeah, I think one of the best takeaways from your story as well, especially the beginning, is that the whole purpose of networking and knowing folks is not to seek out people to network with. It's just they happen to be there, and you need to hang on to those connections because you just never know, what's going to happen, right?
Yes.
And it's
Yes,
just,
absolutely.
yeah, it's
And
just
it really
beautiful.
is kind of, all who you know.
Yeah,
Not everything is that, but it really is a lot, especially in Hollywood and the entertainment industry. Those connections matter so much,
yeah.
you know? Um, so yeah, definitely.
Well, especially, being a part of a huge talent agency like Mitchell. And I'm not just saying it because I'm also repped by you guys, but it is one of the largest agencies in the country, and there's just so much swirling through. So that's a whole other, bag of worms you have to
Yes.
sift through when you start that. I mean, was there a lot of lateral, techniques that you brought from casting into, being an LA representative?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I really do like to think that my cat days have sort of really prepared me to just have a special little niche maybe that some people might not have. It took a while definitely to build up to where we are, especially the sort of LA branch, but I do like to think that we are, I don't know, obviously I work there, so I'm going to say we're one of the best. But I do have those things that I carried over from casting. Like when I communicate with casting directors or assistants or associates, I know how busy they are. I know how slammed they get with calls and emails, all of that. So I try not to bother them if it's not necessary. We always try to make sure that we are very communicative with them. If someone is not going to be able to tape, we let them know. If someone needs extra time, we ask. I always try to follow their rules to the letter, to the T, just because I know that it makes their lives easier. If they ask for a certain thing on a slate and one of our actors has not done one of the things, I will have an actor retape just because I know that if casting can trust actors with small things like making sure they read all of the instructions and followed all of the things that casting asks of them, then they can trust them with a larger thing like casting them in a role and being on time to set and knowing their lines and things like that. So I definitely think there are those little things that I learned from casting that have carried over that help us hopefully have really good relationships with casting directors. And that's one of our goals is to have really good consistent relationships with casting where they know they can rely on us. We have good people. They get their tapes in, they get them in on time or early, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like we are in a spot now where there's room for plenty of, and it sounds off saying it out loud, but intimate conversations with, those different pillars of the entertainment industry without having to go to physical functions in Los Angeles and network that way. So with
Yes.
everything that's happened, post pandemic, post strikes, and production cuts, that kind of thing. Have you noticed any sort of significant changes in the way things are handled now compared to even say like 2 years ago, especially on the agency to CD side?
I mean, I think everything is sort of always changing, and especially the further away we get from COVID, those things are being the stricter rules are sort of being put to the wayside a little bit. So, whereas a lot of times people had to be physically in LA right after COVID, I think that's relaxed a little bit more. They're a little more accepting of people that are based other places, things like that. From a casting standpoint, I obviously am not in casting anymore, but one of the things that I loved when I was in casting was the sessions and getting to
Yeah.
meet actors and read with them and just get a feel for them in the room. So I know that that's something that has sort of been lost. But on the flip side, I think more auditions have come through because casting can see more people. So they just send out more tape requests, which is good for actors, you
Yeah.
know? And, I know actors a lot of times get worried that maybe casting is not going to watch their tape or watch all the tapes that come through. But I can tell you, every casting office that I've worked for, and it's been a lot, we watch every single tape,
Wow.
whether we were in the room with them or whether they had been in New York and had to send a tape, and I do believe that the majority of casting these days does watch every single tape that an actor sends, so
Yeah. Yeah.
and like I said, it just allows them to see more people, um, having things sort of digital now.
Yeah, well, it's great to hear because, like you said, a lot of actors, like I've had those moments as well. If I send something in an hour before the deadline, my main thought is there's no way they're going to look at it. They've already picked somebody. Like there's a time
Right,
crunch there. So it is nice to at least hear
right.
that offices were still doing that and
Yes.
and
Yes,
still searching.
absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I really do believe that they, want to find the best actor for the job, and so they're gonna see as many actors as they can.
Yeah. And with you on a completely different side, but sort of lateral to what you were doing before, I think a lot of folks are curious what a there's no average day for you, right? But what I guess your last day before the holiday season was like, working
Yeah,
on the agency side. I think a lot of
right.
folks are wondering, what is a day in the life of an agent like?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Well, the last day before the holiday, I was actually very surprised at how busy it was.
Oh, really?
Yes, because, there were breakdowns being released late into the afternoon on Wednesday afternoon.
Holy cow.
And so that was sort of surprising. But I would say a typical day is, I wake up, I, check the breakdowns and see if there's been anything released, since I last looked at it last night. A lot of my time is spent submitting for roles, submitting, through breakdowns and sending out any auditions that come through, looking looking at client headshots. We have a lot of clients that have just gotten some new headshots, and so we go through those and help them choose headshots. um, we also have Zoom meetings with clients sometimes, or meeting new potential clients that are done usually on Zoom, because we're all kind of spread out.
Yeah.
um, and just answering any sort of emails from clients, any questions they might have, just any sort of deals that might come through if an actor gets booked, sort of having to close deals and things like that. So that doesn't happen every day, but it's always a happy day when that does happen.
Right.
That's our favorite part about the job is, seeing someone, getting to call the actors if they book something. That's
Yeah.
that's what makes us happy because we get to, hear how happy they are. So, and I always tell our actors, it's as much as you want to succeed and you have your goals, we want that almost just as much for you as you do.
Absolutely.
We really care about our people and are passionate about our people. And so it makes us just so happy when that one of their dreams was fulfilled. So,
Yeah. Yeah, a
yeah.
call from your agent is like, I don't know, it's like getting a C-mail message on Actors Access. Like, oh, something's happening. I don't know what it is,
Yes.
but there's something.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. And
That's
I'm
so
always so
cool.
happy when an audition comes through and I get to send it out, or, check in a veil or put a pin or
Yeah.
something like that. It always is, a happy, happy part of my day.
Yeah, it's part of that whole team mentality. I feel like a lot of performers look at it as, oh, they don't care about me, blah blah blah. Just the usual insecure stuff, but you're right. They want you to win. It's just like the casting side as well. They want somebody to get the part and nail it because it means
Yes.
they win. Um,
Yes.
it's just
Absolutely.
I always think, oh, it'd be cool to be on the agency side or casting, but my anxious brain is like, it'd be the same thing, you know. It's just different parts of it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I
Right.
think anyone listening to this having that mentality of you are a collective team and everybody wants to help each other and they want the other person to win, like that's really important to keep in mind, especially
Mhm.
either if it's slow or you have a bunch of auditions and like nothing's booking, something is moving, the gears are
Yes.
moving.
Yes,
um
absolutely. And I always
yeah.
say that, like, from my casting days, I remember there would be times when we would see an actor and we would say, oh my gosh, they're great. They're not right for this role, but they're
Mhm.
fantastic. and we would remember them, the next time we had a role that we thought they would be good in and bring them in. So, just being seen by casting is definitely a win. And they will remember you. If they see you and you're not right for something, but they like you, they will remember you and call you back,
It's funny
you
how
know?
that works, like 2 years later. You
Yeah,
know?
yes, yes, exactly. 2 years, 2 months, whatever it is,
Yeah.
they have good brains and great memories.
I don't know how you did it. I don't, it's just insane to have that kind of memory with faces and the names
Yes,
together.
yes.
Holy
It
cow.
kind of, yeah, it kind of just the longer you do it, I think the better you become at it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I do want to know if there is, something that comes up with this question, but if there's a movie or a TV show that you saw when you were younger that really just like kickstarted your love and your passion for the entertainment industry. I feel like there's something, but I've always wanted to ask you.
Gosh, that's a good question. Oh man. I What's so funny is that I definitely have a lot of memories as a kid seeing movies in the theater. So my mom and dad did take me to see movies. I remember seeing An American Tail in the theater when I was very little. I don't think that's what kickstarted my passion for it, but honestly, I that's a really good question. I if there is going to be one, honestly, it probably would have to be The Goonies.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
that was probably my favorite childhood movie. I'm a child of the 80s, and
Yeah.
so um I would always watch that with my best friend when I was growing up in Texas. And so, probably that, but I don't know what it was, but I
Hmm.
from then on I definitely just loved movies and the stories that they told, and you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
I mean, if there's going to be a perfect movie to bring up, that would be one. It's like that or Princess Bride, like one of those two would
Yes.
definitely hit
Yes.
hard.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Princess Bride is
Yeah.
another favorite as well. So,
Yeah, it
yeah.
just I feel like for a lot of folks in this industry, it unlocks that, anything is possible sort of logic that we carry with
Yes.
us for the rest of our lives.
Yes, that's true. That's a good way to look at it. Those sorts
Yeah.
of movies where they're, full of adventure and, like you said, sort of
Mhm.
anything is possible.
Yeah, we're all
So,
goofballs. We
yeah,
all daydream
yeah,
and,
yes,
have things we want. I mean, if you have free time after your schedule, which could be really crazy, could be swaying different hours, early morning until late night. When you do have free time, are you watching anything that you're just really loving right now? Is there something you're able to kind of decompress with? It doesn't have to be
yeah,
TV as well or movies. It could be doing
yeah,
something. Is there anything you do to sort of shed the day, so to speak?
yes, yes, absolutely. I am loving the second season of Shrinking right now on Apple TV Plus. Yes,
Yes.
you too.
Yes. Sorry, I'm
Yes.
obsessed with this show.
It's so good, and it's so well written, and
Hmm.
every single one of the cast members are incredible and spot on, and it has so much heart, and it's just wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I'm so glad you
So
brought
my
that up.
my former bosses, Debbie Romano and Brett Benner, I used to work for them, and so they cast it.
No
And
way.
my dear friend Becca Burgess is one of the casting. She was a casting associate and casting director on that as well. So
Oh, that's awesome. See,
yeah,
small world,
yes,
small industry.
yes, exactly,
Holy
exactly.
cow.
So,
That's God,
um,
that's an amazing
and
show.
I'm always going to movies. I love to go to movies in the theater. So I try to see as many movies as I can in the theater. The last one I saw was Wicked, and I loved it. So
Do they have a sing-along version or is it
I
just
think they're going to, but no
okay?
one sang in the screening I saw. So I know
Yeah.
people were like, "Don't sing, tell people not to sing." So
Like, isn't that the point of this
right,
being
right.
adapted?
Yes.
Because I would assume they're singing in the movie as well.
Yes, yes, they are.
That makes
Yeah,
zero sense.
right, right. uh,
I haven't seen that one
but
yet.
it's good.
It looks
It's
good.
really good. It is,
Yeah.
I think you might have to be a lover of musicals. I'm not really sure, but I am. So it's good. It's good. It's really good. John M. Chu is incredible director. He's
Oh shoot.
fantastic.
I
So
forgot that was him.
yes,
Oh my God.
he's
Okay.
great.
I'll have to check that
You
out.
might have to check it out. You might have to check
Yeah.
it out.
I
Yeah.
haven't used my Alamo season pass in like 2 months, so I need to start
Oh,
kicking it into high
amazing.
gear.
Oh,
Uh,
that's so fun. I wish there was one near me, but there's not. But I know
are
it's a great
you?
theater, Alamo.
Oh, okay. I wasn't gonna ask. I remember where you're located now, but I didn't want to say it
You
on
know,
air.
I'm south of
Um,
you.
yeah, that's not gonna work. I wish they should put
Yeah.
one up.
Yes.
Maybe in the next few
I
years,
know.
but
You
I'll have
never
to.
know.
Yeah,
You
I'm
never
crossing
know.
fingers. Well, then, and
Yes.
speaking of that as well, going along with, decompressing through entertainment, and you love going to the movies, and I mean, we both love shrinking, so it's amazing. Are you
Hmm.
still like a hardcore music fan? Do you go to any shows? Do you sort of go out and about, or are you like me? I've had the same 1,300 songs on my library since I was in high school and haven't really changed that much.
Fantastic. No, I do. I love to go to live shows and I do try to get to as many as I can. I probably the one that is my one constant, my one staple is my favorite band is the Avett Brothers. And
Ooh.
so I see them every year in July at Red Rocks. I make sure that that happens. um, but there's so many that, you know, Sabrina Carpenter just toured, and I said, "Oh my
Oh yeah.
gosh, why didn't I see Sabrina?" Or Casey Musgraves. I love both of them, and so I think sometimes I forget to look and see who's going to be, in my area.
Yeah.
It's in LA. I think it was a little bit easier when I lived in LA to keep track of who was coming and to the Hollywood Bowl or the Greek or whatever it was. But now that I'm not there anymore, it's a little harder to think about remembering to see shows. But
Yeah.
no, I have Spotify and I'm always just kind of putting it on shuffle and hearing new people and um, any sort of indie music station. There's one. Uh, yeah, I'm sure it's in our area where we live.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love discovering new bands and music and things like that. So definitely
Yeah.
still a passion.
Oh, I love that. Well, and when you were saying, I wanted to go and try and work for MTV, like that was the really like fun apex of MTV before everything just sort of,
Yes.
blew up and shut down.
Yes. Before
Um,
it became just all reality TV and
yeah.
then, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like I remember
it used to be
when
really fun.
oh my God, it was I mean, I feel like I was born 10 years too late because all of my ties to MTV were during, like the 90s into maybe the early 2000s, and then there was
Sure.
a cutoff.
Yes.
But
Same for me. Like,
yeah,
that was, still, they still had the good stuff going then.
yeah, they were
But
slowly sort of weaning it out, and then you get to like, oh, it's Teen Mom. You're like, yeah, okay, I'm good. I just wanted music. I don't need
correct.
anything else.
And I'm done.
Or, maybe
Yeah.
watch an episode of Next because the acting in it was just
Oh,
really
what was
good.
that?
It was
Next.
terrible.
I don't
It was it would be somebody would be like the bachelor bachelorette, and then they would pile six different suitors on a bus, and they would follow these sort of take turns and follow each other on basically like a day-long date at different events, and at any point in
oh
time
my
either party can say next and they have to swap out partners.
oh my gosh.
It was the
That's
most
kind of brutal,
2000s
but
thing.
it sounds entertaining.
Yeah, I think it prepared me for trying to date in high school and college. We're like, well, it couldn't be
Yeah.
that bad.
Right. At
Nothing
least no
going
one's
that
gonna
much.
say next in the
Yeah,
middle of our date. Like, yeah.
It's like
Oh my goodness.
it's a low possibility, but never zero. Is that the thing that we're saying now? Like there's
Yeah.
still a chance.
Ah,
Um, I did want to ask you, with everything that you've worked on and have had, all these crazy experiences, if there was a project that we can go on the let's stick on the agency side. If there was a project that one of your clients booked that you were really excited about, wanted to see if there was something that stood out there, and if not, on that side, we can also go back to the casting side of, a project that you were just super happy to work on as well.
yeah, I definitely think there have been. There's been a handful of times where you see someone work really hard. And I always say hard work pays off because I've
Yeah.
seen it time and time again in casting, in the agency world. Hard work does pay off. So there's definitely been times when an actor has booked something big, whether it's, Grey's Anatomy or um, there's an upcoming one that I can't mention just yet that's pretty huge. And so, um, but you just see how grateful that actor is
Mhm.
and how
Yeah.
a lot of times it comes at exactly the right time. They'll say, I needed this, or I was losing hope, or I was really discouraged, or whatever it was. And I think that's I think it's so many actors, go through that. I always say, I
Yeah.
couldn't be an actor. There's no way I could be an actor. I see what actors go through. I see how hard you work. I see the rejection. I see all of it. And it's so hard and I couldn't do it. I just don't have I just am not made for that. And so I admire actors so so much for sticking with things and being creative and making your own projects or writing your own projects or whatever it may be. You know, so there's definitely some times that stick out in my head. Like I said, those are the best times when you get to make that call and say, you booked your first job or
Yeah.
you booked a recurring guest star on XYZ, whatever it may be. It's always just really, really amazing to be there
Yeah.
to get to be a part of that.
That's so
So
cool. Yeah.
yeah.
It's like proud parent moment.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly, exactly. And like you
Yeah.
said, there's like the team aspect of everyone working so hard. The actor works so hard on honing their craft and um, really just doing all the things that they can to better themselves and their journey and their work. And then on our side of things, there's, the daily push with casting and breakdowns and, finding the right role for submissions, things like that. And so when it all comes together, magic happens.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's what you hope for. That's what you are all working
Yeah.
towards. So,
Well, shoot. I mean, that's a
yeah.
perfect segue into, one of the pertinent questions we always have on this show, and that's if you have any advice that you've held on to that you could pass on to our listeners. Doesn't have to be anything, industry related, but just something you like fully believe in and have held on to for, your career, for your lifetime.
Yeah. I think I sort of already said one of them, which is hard work pays off.
Yeah.
Keep working hard. And I think maybe just another one is, be a good person. you know,
Yeah.
be be a nice person, be a good human, because that goes such a long way. Whether you're an actor, whether you're, in a different part of the industry, it doesn't matter. But if you have character and just if you just know how to be gracious and be kind to people and things like that, I think that will open a lot of doors as well.
Yeah.
And once the doors are opened, people will remember. People are going to remember if you were on time. They'll remember if you said hello to them. They'll remember if you gave it your all, you know, or if you were a team player, things like that, you know,
Yeah.
just sort of work on your inner self as well while you're working towards your career. So you're ready for it when it happens, you know.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
it's funny how just saying aloud, "Be a good person," like, it's the easiest thing you can do, but not a lot of people live by that, and it's so easy to
yes.
do.
Yes.
Um,
And I
yeah.
think it's especially hard, you know, maybe in Hollywood and the industry because of the grind and
Mhm.
because of the pace of it. And not everyone, a lot of people are not nice. A lot of people are not
Yeah.
kind, you know? And so I think when you are, that is something that sticks out for the good, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, yeah, it's fun I would never say, like, incident-wise where it happened or who it was, but, yeah, I've experienced a lot of that this year and just thought, "Okay, well, I'll
yes.
just keep doing what I'm doing and I'll let you
Yes.
do your thing."
Right, right. You do you.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I know we're running low on time for this, so I just have, 2 things to ask, the biggest one being, um, asking if you have a party story that you could share with our listeners. So, in this show, a party story is just something that happened that you instantly remember. It always stands out. Could be happy, sad, could be really strange, just something that
Yes,
really comes to mind. Okay, you got something lined right up right
I do.
now.
I yes. Yes, not to brag, but I have many party stories because I had some really good and fun friends in LA. But obviously I think the one, oh gosh, well, there's one that I can't name names on.
Oh yeah, names redacted. Names redacted.
Okay, well, that one I'm not going to tell,
Okay. Okay.
but I do remember the time that I was at my friend's house and we were having a game night. He was having a game night, and Rachel McAdams showed up, and she's probably my favorite actress.
Oh.
I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her. And we got to be on the same running charades team, which was
Hmm.
amazing. I know. I can't believe it. She's incredible. I always say about her that she's the coolest girl in school and everyone worships her because she's heaven. That's a quote from Love Actually, and it applies to Rachel McAdams, period.
My
And she
God.
was lovely, just the sweetest, kindest, most normal human being ever. So fun, so sweet. And I actually saw her months later at this same friend's birthday party.
Mhm.
And one of my friends was talking to her, and I walked up to say hi to my friend. And he introduced me to her, and she said, "Oh, no, I know. I remember. Yeah, I remember
Oh.
you." I know.
Oh my
She
God.
remembered me, and she was so sweet. And yeah, she's everything that you would want her to be.
That
Yes.
as like one of my longest celebrity crushes, that gives me hope. That is fantastic. That she was so, and she
Yes.
remembered you.
Yeah, she remembered
Oh
me
my
months
God.
later. So just a lovely girl. Just the coolest from school.
Who we all look up to and admire.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Okay. I can't wait to
Yes.
tell my partner that she's gonna flip because we both
Yes.
love Rachel McAdams.
Oh,
Um,
I love that.
that's one
She's
of the best party
wonderful.
stories I've heard. It's just
I
so
love that.
okay. I'm so jealous of you right
How could
now.
it not
So
be?
envious of you.
I know. I do miss my LA days with fun house parties like that. But, you know, I had them and they happened and I at
Yeah.
least, you know.
You get
So
to hang on to them and you didn't forget
exactly.
them.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get to tell them here. So
Well, the last thing I have before we do a sign off for the recording is I wanted to see if there's anything that you'd like for us to give a shout out to or promote with your episode. It could be, something like shrinking. It could be a charity you really, care about. It could be anything. If there's something that really stands out that you want to acknowledge.
hmm. That's so nice. I don't think I have anything, but
Nothing.
no, I mean, everyone
Nothing.
watch Shrinking. I guess we can say that. Everyone watch Shrinking because it's amazing.
Like, please do. Please do
Um,
it.
yes, yes. No, but that's so nice that you guys do that. I love that.
Oh, for sure. It's something that, especially you just never know when you might find something new you need
Yes,
to look up.
yes, yes,
Um,
exactly.
I know I went over time for the recording here, but I just want to say like thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit down and just talk about you, and it was a blast getting to hear more about you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. This has
Oh,
been
for
so fun.
sure.
You're a great conversationalist, a great
Sure.
host, easy to
Thank you.
talk to. So thank you. This was so much fun.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate it. I'm oh, one last thing. I'm gonna have us do an awkward goodbye and then I'll stop the recording from there. Does that sound good? I almost
Okay,
forgot about that.
sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Whenever you're ready, give us your best verbal and visual, because it kind of helps with the sound. Awkward
Oh,
goodbye.
oh my gosh. But I don't know if I've ever done an awkward goodbye.
It's so much fun.
I don't know what to do. Okay. Is it just like, is it just anything? It's just like weird, like a weird voice or
It's anything. Hey, Chrissy, it's
it's
anything you
anything?
want.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. You're gonna get you're gonna give me the cue.
Okay, I'll give you the cue. Ready?
Wait, hold on. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm ready.
Ready? And three.
I need another one. Hold on. Hold on. I have to think. It has to be good. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I got
Here
this.
we go. And three.
Goodbye.